The story is reaching a dangerous breaking point. Everything that Peacemaker and his team have fought for now feels like it could fall apart with just one wrong move. Episode 6 promises not just action, but choices that will decide who survives and who is left behind. The air is heavy with secrets, trust is crumbling, and somewhere in the chaos, a bigger truth is waiting to explode. The 5th episode of Peacemaker, Season 2 left fans sitting on the edge of their seats. The chaos of the mission is no longer something that can be laughed off with a crude joke or a sarcastic one-liner. Things have become painfully real. In the earlier parts of the season, the show balanced its wild humor with shocking violence, but Episode 5 was different. It pulled back the curtain and reminded us that every reckless action has a price, and every friendship carries a weight. Peacemaker himself is a man caught between two worlds. On one hand, he wants to live by his strange and twisted code piece at any cost, no matter how bloody the road to get there might be. On the other hand, the more time he spends with this unlikely team, the more he realizes that his old way of thinking doesn't work anymore. His constant attempts to hide his pain with jokes or crude humor aren't enough to keep his past from bleeding into the present. Episode 5 showed us a Peacemaker who is breaking down, even if he doesn't want to admit it. His bravado looks thinner, his smiles forced, and his silence heavier than ever. But he's not alone in his struggle. Adebayo has become the emotional anchor of the group, though that role is tearing her apart from the inside. She carries secrets that no one else in the team fully understands, and her loyalty is tested every time she looks at Peacemaker. She knows the truth about the mission, she knows things that Peacemaker doesn't, and that knowledge puts her in a dangerous position. Episode 5 hinted at cracks in her resolve moments, where her guilt and her conscience began to collide. Can she keep playing both sides? Or will her bond with Peacemaker push her to take a stand she can't take back? Then there's Vigilante, the wild card of the group. If Peacemaker is the broken hero, Vigilante is the unpredictable shadow right beside him. Episode 5 showed his strange balance of loyalty and recklessness in full force. He's the kind of ally who would walk through fire for his friends, but he's also the kind of man who would light the fire in the first place. His humor keeps the group alive during the darkest moments, but behind the laughter, there's a sharp unpredictability. One wrong word, one wrong moment, and Vigilante could tip the scale in ways no one can control. And looming over all of this is the enemy force that still feels one step ahead of the team. Episode 5 pulled back the curtain just enough to show us that what's coming is far bigger than any of them imagined. There are hints of betrayal, whispers of hidden motives, and the chilling sense that someone close might already be working against them. Every time the team thinks they've gained ground, the shadow of their enemy stretches further, reminding the man-US that the real battle is only just beginning. Episode 5 wasn't just about action, it was about trust. Who do you believe when the world is falling apart? Who do you stand beside when standing still might get you killed? These were the questions hanging heavy as the credits rolled, leaving fans desperate for Episode 6. Because now, after everything that has happened, the team is at a breaking point. Bonds are being tested, friendships are being stretched, and secrets are seconds away from tearing everything apart. And when that happens, no one will be safe. Episode 6 of Peacemaker, Season 2, isn't just another chapter. It feels like the storm we've been waiting for. Everything that has been building from the very start of the season is beginning to collide, and the fallout promises to be both explosive and heartbreaking. The preview hints at tension boiling within the team, and for the first time, it looks like the people who swore to fight together might actually turn against one another. This isn't about bullets or fists anymore. It's about trust, loyalty, and the cost of choosing the wrong side. Every shot we've seen so far points to a story where personal choices matter more than raw power, and the consequences of those choices are going to hit harder than any fight scene. The atmosphere heading into Episode 6 is different from anything we've seen before. Earlier episodes carried the balance of comedy and chaos, but now there's a heavier silence in the air. The team is fractured, even if no one wants to admit it. Peacemaker looks more torn than ever, his face, a mask of anger and guilt, like a man carrying the weight of two worlds on his shoulders. One world demands violence and blood, the other whispers of connection and redemption. Episode 6 feels like the moment where he can no longer keep both alive. He will have to pick, and no matter what he chooses, something inside him will break. The tragic beauty of his character is that he fights harder against himself than he does against his enemies, and this coming episode seems ready to throw him into that struggle headfirst. The preview doesn't just hint at conflict within the team, it promises chaos from outside forces closing in. There are flashes of combat, moments of sheer destruction, the kind of action sequences that James Gunn's vision thrives on. But it's not just mindless explosions. Every fight seems layered with meaning. Each punch, each gunshot, each moment of violence carries the weight of the team's fractured bond. The enemy isn't just stronger, it feels smarter, more patient. Almost as if they have been watching and waiting for the exact moment to strike. Episode 6 could be the turning point where the hunters become the hunted. And the question isn't just whether the team can survive, but whether they can even survive together. And then there's Vigilante, the unpredictable element that could push everything into chaos. Episode 6 teases glimpses of him stepping into situations where his loyalty and his recklessness collide. For fans, this is both thrilling and terrifying. He is the friend who will take a bullet for you, but also the man who might pull the trigger on the wrong person if his emotions take over. The preview hints at Vigilante facing a moment that could change how the team views him forever. Will he finally step into the role of true ally, or will his unpredictability fracture the group beyond repair? His arc in Episode 6 feels like a hidden fuse, one that could ignite the biggest explosion yet. Adebayo, too, looks ready to face her breaking point. Episode 6 is set up as the hour where secrets can no longer stay buried. Her loyalty to the mission, her loyalty to Amanda Waller, and her loyalty to Peacemaker are all colliding, and there's no way she can carry that weight much longer. The preview shows flashes of her torn between choices that could either save the team or destroy it from the inside. She has always been the quiet strength of the group, but Episode 6 might be the moment where silence turns into action, and action turns into betrayal or redemption. Fans are already speculating whether her truth will finally be exposed, and if it is, how Peacemaker will respond to the knife of betrayal from someone he thought he could trust. But perhaps the most haunting part of the Episode 6 preview is the way it hints at something much larger waiting in the shadows. The enemy has been patient, but patience doesn't last forever. There are flashes of an unseen force, moments where we can almost feel the presence of something bigger than any of the characters realize. It's the kind of storytelling that leaves the audience uneasy, knowing that while we're focused on the chaos between the team, the real danger is creeping closer, ready to strike when they least expect it. Episode 6 doesn't just look like the setup for a fight, it feels like the setup for a war. Everything in the preview screams escalation, the tension in Peacemaker's eyes, the cracks in the team's foundation, the shadows of betrayal, and the enemy circling closer at all points to one simple truth. This is the episode where the story shifts. This is the moment that divides the season into before and after. What happens in Episode 6 will shape the finale, and no one is going to come out of it unchanged. Fans who thought they had the answers are about to realize that the questions run much deeper than anyone guessed. Episode 6 is the knife's edge, and by the time the credits roll, the blood on it won't just be from the battlefield, it will be from the choices that broke them apart. What makes Peacemaker stand apart from other superhero shows isn't just the explosions or the raunchy humor. The way every character feels like a walking contradiction. Episode 6 is shaping up to pull those contradictions to the surface, forcing each member of the team to confront the one thing they've been running from, themselves. This isn't just about the next mission, it's about the weight of secrets, the cost of loyalty, and the question of what kind of person you become when survival is the only thing left to fight for. Each character is carrying something they can't say out loud, and Episode 6 looks like the moment where silence becomes unbearable. Peacemaker himself is a man who can't escape the mirror. His entire existence is built around an idea so twisted it's almost laughable: peace at any cost, no matter how many bodies it takes to get there. But as the season has unfolded, and especially after Episode 5, we've watched that code eat away at him. It's no longer enough to hide behind crude jokes or a cold stare. The cracks in his armor are showing, and in Episode 6, those cracks may finally shatter. What makes his story so compelling is that he's not a hero trying to do good. He's a broken man trying to believe he even deserves the chance. He carries the weight of his father's shadow, the guilt of his past choices, and the loneliness of a man who has always pushed people away before they could abandon him. Episode 6 feels like the place where all those demons will rise at once, and the terrifying question becomes, will Peacemaker fight them, or will he let them consume him? Then there's Vigilante, the man who hides a storm behind a smile. To outsiders, he looks like comic relief, a clumsy, awkward sidekick who doesn't understand social boundaries. But underneath that goofy mask lies something darker, something more fragile. Vigilante is loyalty personified, but he's also a ticking time bomb. He loves too much, fights too recklessly, and has never learned how to live in the gray areas of life. In Episode 6, the stakes rise higher than ever. and Vigilante will likely face a test that no joke can soften. Will his blind devotion to Peacemaker make him the team's greatest ally? Or will his reckless decisions push them into even greater danger? The tragedy of his character is that his heart is pure, but his methods are poison. And episode 6 may be where those two forces finally collide in a way that changes him forever. Adebayo is the quiet storm at the heart of the team. She's the one with the most to lose and the most to hide. Unlike Peacemaker or Vigilante, her conflict isn't about violence, it's about truth. She knows secrets that could burn everything to the ground, and the weight of those lies is getting heavier by the day. Her loyalty is divided. Part of her belongs to her mother, Amanda Waller, and part of her belongs to the bonds she's forming with the team, especially with Peacemaker. Episode 6 looks like the moment where those two loyalties collide, and when they do, Adebayo will be forced to make a choice. Does she betray her family's mission to save her new one, or does she stay silent and risk destroying them all? Her arc is the most fragile, and that fragility makes her the most dangerous piece on the board. In a story built on betrayal and trust, Adebayo is the character who might decide which way the blade cuts, but we can't ignore the looming shadow of the antagonist. Episode 6 promises to peel back more of their plan. And what makes them terrifying isn't just their strength, it's their patience. While the heroes fracture and bleed, the enemy waits. Their presence in episode 6 feels less like a direct confrontation and more like a tightening noose. Every move the team makes, every doubt that grows between them, only serves the enemy's purpose. And what makes it worse is the sense that the enemy isn't just outside, it might already be within. A traitor, a hidden agenda. The preview leaves just enough space for doubt. And doubt is the most powerful weapon of all. Even the supporting characters seem ready to step into the spotlight. Harcourt, stoic and disciplined, carries herself like someone who refuses to break. But episode 6 might force her to face emotions she has buried too deep. Economos, the reluctant ally, may finally find himself pushed past the point of comic relief into something braver or more tragic. Each of these characters is a piece of the puzzle, and in episode 6, the puzzle feels like it's about to come apart, scattering in ways that might never fit together again. At its core, episode 6 isn't just setting up the next fight. It's asking a brutal question. What kind of people are these characters when the masks come off, when the jokes fade, and when survival demands truth? Every one of them has built walls to hide behind humor, bravado, silence, loyalty, but walls don't last forever. The preview teases us with the idea that episode 6 is the moment those walls crumble. And when they do, what's left won't be superheroes or what's left will be raw, broken people who have to decide if they're still willing to fight for each other when trust is gone. That's where the real drama lives, not in the bullets, not in the explosions, but in the choice to stand together when everything is falling apart. The preview for episode 6 of Peacemaker Season 2 is short, but it has left fans buzzing with questions, wild guesses, and late-night theories that are spreading across forums and social media. This is exactly what makes the build-up to this episode so electric. There's just enough mystery to fuel endless speculation. And unlike other shows where the outcome feels obvious, Peacemaker thrives on turning expectations upside down. Episode 6 is shaping up to be the moment where all the puzzle pieces scatter, and fans are already arguing over which hidden truths will finally surface. One of the biggest theories centers on betrayal within the team. From the very beginning, Amanda Waller's influence has been like a shadow hanging over everything. She's a master manipulator, and fans are convinced that Adebayo's secret connection to her will finally come crashing down in episode 6. Could this be the hour where her hidden role is exposed? Many believe Peacemaker will discover the truth about her, and the fallout could split the group in two. But some fans are going even further, suggesting that Adebayo's loyalty to her mother may not just be passive, maybe she's already sabotaging the team from the inside without fully realizing the damage she's causing. If that's true, episode 6 could deliver the most painful reveal of the season, forcing Peacemaker to face not only betrayal, but betrayal from the person he has come to trust most. Then there's the theory about Vigilante's breaking point. He's always been a mix of comic relief and brutal violence, but some viewers believe episode 6 could mark his downfall. His devotion to Peacemaker is so absolute that it feels unsustainable. What happens if he has to choose between following Peacemaker blindly and protecting the team from Peacemaker's darker instincts? Some speculate that Vigilante may make a choice so reckless it costs the team dearly, while others believe his loyalty could push him to finally step out of Peacemaker's shadow and carve his own bloody path. Either way, fans agree that episode 6 could be the hour where Vigilante proves that he's far more than a sidekick, whether that makes him a hero or a villain, is still up for debate. Another theory that has been gaining traction is the possibility of a major death. This wouldn't be surprising, since James Gunn's storytelling often pushes characters into tragic territory right before the climax of a season. Episode 6 is the perfect setup for such a moment. Some fans believe Economos may be the one to fall, his mix of awkward humor and reluctant courage making him the emotional sacrifice that unites or destroys the team. Others think Harcourt, the strong but emotionally guarded agent, might finally put herself in harm's way for the group, paying the price for her hardened loyalty. The uncertainty about who, if anyone, might not make it past this episode is fueling endless discussions. And it's exactly the kind of tension that makes Episode 6 feel like the calm before the storm turns into chaos. But the most chilling theory revolves around the antagonist. Episode 6's preview gave us only fragments of their presence, yet fans can't stop dissecting every frame. Many believe the enemy has been manipulating events from the inside all along, feeding on the team's distrust and slowly guiding them into collapse. Could one of the supposed allies already be working with the enemy? Could the entire mission be a trap? Some fans are convinced the antagonist isn't just one person, but a force that's bigger, more connected, and more dangerous than anyone expects. If that's the case, Episode 6 may not just reveal a twist, it may change the way we see the entire season. Speculation also circles around Peacemaker's personal journey. The preview shows him haunted, torn between who he has been and who he wants to become. Fans are debating whether Episode 6 will push him toward redemption or drag him deeper into darkness. Some argue that he will finally step into the role of leader, guiding the team despite his flaws, while others fear he will spiral out of control, consumed by guilt and rage. The beauty of his arc is that both outcomes feel possible, and Episode 6 might not give us answers. It might just deepen the question of whether peace can ever truly be achieved through violence, and of course, no discussion would be complete without the finale setup. Fans know Episode 6 is the penultimate step toward the season's endgame, and that means every twist, every reveal, and every betrayal will shape the final 2 episodes. Will we see the team fully fracture, setting up a desperate, broken reunion in the finale? Or will Episode 6 deliver a shocking alliance, one that no one saw coming? Some fans even speculate that Amanda Waller herself could make a direct move, pulling strings from the shadows in a way that forces the team into her grip. Whatever happens, it's clear that Episode 6 isn't just a mid-season highlight, it's the knife's edge that will cut the path toward the end.